The New York Times demonstrates why Gallup polling late last year showed only 36% of Americans saying they trust the media a great deal or a fair amount. Times reporters have brought fire to the feet of House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, reporting private remarks that McCarthy made to other Republicans in the days following the January 6th storming of the Capitol. In those remarks, as reported in the Times, Leader McCarthy was critical of President Trump, telling Republican colleagues that he believed Democrats had votes to impeach the president, in which case, in quotes, "it would be my recommendation that he resign," out quote. Taking words out of context to achieve something other than capturing truth is what, unfortunately, defines much of our left-wing unionized media today, particularly the New York Times. Interestingly, unbeknownst to me, I had similar instincts to what we now know of McCarthy due to leaked recordings of his call that the New York Times considers headline news. I wrote in my nationally syndicated column back then, considering the circumstances of what appeared to be certain impeachment, perhaps President Trump should consider resigning. I actually called it a Masada moment, referring to the band of Jews 2,000 years ago trapped on a mountaintop by Roman troops who decided to take their own lives rather than be captured by the enemy. My advice, and it appears what Kevin McCarthy had in mind then, was that a Trump resignation with only 10 days left in his presidency would deprive Democrats of the political objectives they hope to achieve with their impeachment. The point was not to repudiate President Trump, it was to minimize the political cost to Republicans. If anyone who doubts that the New York Times is about a political agenda rather than delivering truth, they should compare how the Times has covered Leader McCarthy's private phone call to the news about Hunter Biden's laptop. The Times reporters getting big headlines in this constant delivery of the McCarthy story, which is included in an upcoming book that they're publishing, is on every page of unionized media. Yet in contrast, the Times reported on March 16, 2022, confirmation of the authenticity of Hunter Biden's emails, showing his extensive business dealings trading on the position of his then Vice President father, Joe Biden. This a year and a half after the New York Post first broke the story in October 2020 that was then suppressed by big tech on the internet. Can anyone doubt that if the New York Times, along with their left-wing media brethren, their social media in particular, what would have happened if they had not withheld this blockbuster Hunter Biden story a month before the presidential election? Can anyone thinking just any bit of truth, could you not appreciate that this alone could have made all the difference in the razor-thin margins which delivered the presidential election to Joe Biden? You know, under President Donald Trump's leadership, our economy was growing at a pace not seen in years. Blacks and Hispanic unemployment rates reached all-time lows. An historic peace agreement between Arab nations and Israel was achieved. You know, the list is very, very, very long of the accomplishments under President Trump. But now, under President Biden, we are buried in debt, inflation, sluggish growth, and Russia has invaded Ukraine. Delivery of truthful information to voters, especially a month into an election, is critical in a democracy. It's critical that we get truthful information as voters right before an election. And when big media and big tech is biased, when they deliberately ignore major facts and then deliver content driven by an agenda that's hardcore, progressive, and left-wing, we all pay a very dear price.